Hi, everybody. This is Max Farrow. This is Dex webinar for the midweek, 4/12/17. It is it has been a very unusual week with the move happening, me getting back into the office. We met on Monday, all of us. Some of you that are watching this after the fact, you're watching the videos for the first time. And we were discussing a lot of things that were happening with the Dex network and what we were doing. Hang on one second. System. Okay. And I'm in communique with another programmer that we're working with right now to help with some of the workload of what we're building here for the Forex network and for what we're building with the Dex solution for Dex Trader. As most of you know, that we are moving because of the sheer size of how big the systems have become and the response to the Dex Trader and Dex Signals network. We have decided to move the Dex Signals members to Dex Trader, giving you an opportunity to take in part on the greatness that the Dex Trader platform is. So we have been working very hard to make that transition from becoming a transgression. So we don't want to piss a lot of people off, of course. But we also know that in bringing you over the Dex Trader network and creating a better user experience over at Dex Trader, we wanted to make sure that you were going to have some very cool tools. We're going to kind of go over that today. Today's really going to be sort of a slash whiteboard webinar meets presentation, so please bear with me. Of course, we're going to talk about money today. We're going to show some things that are going to happen, and I want to talk about some successes. But in order to do so, I need to have this earnings and risk disclaimer in your face. Okay, I'm even getting sort of tired of reading education and trade assistance only, with all results may vary, because it's sort of like saying don't drink the Windex, right? You have to be. How much more do you have to say to somebody to say that, you know, it's a lot of risk in this industry? Most of you already know that. Okay, I know that, you know that, but did we know that in the very beginning? Maybe you're brand new, who knows? But either way, it's been read and it's sitting here long enough. They say I have to do it for at least 15 seconds, for at least so you guys can read it, and or if you're watching this after the fact, pause the video. All right. Normally I have a topics, and I did when I first started building this today, but as anything happens, let me take a quick second. Let me go back to the main screen here. Okay. I want you all to know that the company itself, even let's just focus on me just for 1 second, okay? Me personally, I'm the type of individual that hopes for the best, plans for the worst, okay? I believe that I can do certain things that sometimes may seem like superhuman, because how is he going to get all this stuff done? And I sometimes will make a claim to get something done, and then of course what happens? Life gets in the way, right? I want all these things to happen. I say we try to get things in a video. We'll try to get them into the next segment. We'll try to do these things. I think the operative word here is try. And when I make these claims, when I make these promises that we're going to try to build these things and make these things great and build onto these things, I'm doing so with in mind that it's not just me here anymore. It's not just me building these things. It's a community. It's an effort. If I forget you, or I put you on the side, or something happens to you within this network, if you have not gotten the responses from us as you may have needed, please, as a trusted individuals within these networks, as members of this company, that you are investors, consumers, traders, you are professional business people, reach out to us, talk to us, let us know that, hey, I think you missed some things with me, or you were supposed to get a video out. Keep us accountable, and that's okay. With respect to all of you, if you have a problem, if there's something that happens that we forget something from you, please just email us. You have 50 million ways to contact us. We definitely want to be able to help you, okay? Now, there's also that thing to say that if it's something that needs to be done, we need to talk about it, Okay? If it's something that is something that you can help with, we need to talk about that. So keep that in mind. All right? I am not a perfect individual. Nobody is. But what I do have is a great team of people that want to work to build a network that is strong and valued within this industry. And it's very difficult to find. Okay? So if you have solutions, you see things wrong, reach out to support, reach out to myself. Don't sit and just wait for it to change. Become part of that solution. With that said, I wanted to originally go through a few things that I noticed within the industry, within some of you. Okay, and I talked to a trader yesterday, and we spoke about this the first time. Usually we talk about this a lot in the MDM series that we have on Dex Trader, but I want to talk to you, most of you that are here for Dex Trader or Dex Signals. We're going to be combining these webinars for everybody to get the feel what's about to happen. Even these webinars are going to take a little shift as well, because we're probably going to have a tremendous amount of evergreen webinars, meaning that they're always going to be there, that you can go like videos and watch these webinars and associate with other people that are there as well in that time period for you to be there. But I wanted to talk about this, that the incremental crawl, we call the crawl, okay, is a very powerful strength building device. It's a strategy that Mike and myself created to help you build up your account when you're first starting to go from demo to live, right? It's very important, from demo to live, because there is this unknown factor when you're going from demo to live that some people handle it really well, some people don't. Okay, some people are right in that middle, that mean area, and they tend to try to throw, you want to start with one contract, and they do pretty good with that. You start with one contract, you're doing really good, then all of a sudden you're putting 2 on, and you're like, let me put 5 on and see what happens, right? This has no value of data collection. This has no value of systematic consistency, and you will lose. Why? Because Murphy will come in, from Murphy's Law, and smack you in the teeth. Okay? The moment you put 5 contracts down, guess what? That's the one you're going to lose. And if you don't have the consistency, you won't be able to track your results properly. In your journal, you should be tracking exactly how many contracts you do each one. And if you're not doing it consistently, you're in line for risk to ruin. Okay? So what we created is this very simple process, very, very simple. Now, I can't tell you exactly how much and how many trades to get into, or how much money you should have through the increments. This is something that you're going to have to set. This could be 800, this could be 400, this could be 6,000, whatever you want it to be, right? But the first thing you're going to do is that your incremental crawl is going to start with 1, right? We can all agree on that. 1 contract, right? Whatever value you set, like I like to set about $800 in my value right here. I'm trading 1 contract until I make at least $800. Once I reach that $800, I'll set a second contract down. Boom, done, right? So once I meet $800, I'm going to set 2 contracts down from those trades on. Now this first batch right here, this first run right here is going to take you a while, right? Because if you're only winning $20 or 20, maybe $25 at a time, right? It's going to take you a while to get to that. It's going to take you about 30-something trades to get to. Now, the cool thing is that once you get to it, you've earned your stripes, man. You have really you have been strength, CrossFit training, triathlon in it, all the way there. Okay? And this transition that happens here, this transgression, if you will, from 1 contract to 2 contracts is the toughest to pierce, right? Because Murphy is sitting right here. He's sitting right here. He's saying, all right, he just got to $801. His next trade is going to be 2 contracts, and I'm going to make him lose. And that's what's going to happen. You'll probably lose that first trade that you do here. But let me give you some advice. Don't keep powering on with 2. Guess what you do? If your profit fell below 800, go back to 1 contract until you do it again. Okay? Until you do it again. And then throw another 2 contracts on and pierce that veil. Okay? And then you make it an even amount of increments here, right? So if you set 800, your second contract should be 1,600. If you did 400 here, your second contract should be 800. You getting that? Great. I'm laying it down. Hopefully I'm laying it down good enough with this third grade writing that I'm doing without my pad because somebody lost a cord. Yeah, go figure. Okay, so once this happens, again, advance to 3 contracts when you hit 2,400, right? Or once you hit 1,600, you go into 3 contracts up to $2,400, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, and so forth, right? And that's pretty easy to understand, but it's the toughest thing to follow through with. Can anybody in the room tell me why it's the toughest thing to follow through with? Because as human beings, what are we all? Some of you are going to pick some words and it'll tell me a little bit about you. Some of you will pick some other words. Can anybody in the room, you're probably, some say impatient. Thank you, Paul. Impatient. Is there another word? Is there another word that could be followed up with impatience? Greedy. Yes, that's right. El grido monstero. Yeah, you didn't know I spoke German, did you? Right? He sits here, he's like, yeah, give me my money. This is my money. Like my little monster, little sharp teeth. Yeah. He wants his money. Right? Because we're all impatient. I just spent $297 for text trader signals and indicators, and I want my money. Yeah, I get it. But if you're not prepared, because the greed monster, man, he comes in and he's hungry, right? He's going to want his money, and that's you. That's really you. You're going to want your money, but you're going to run into these pockets where there's no money at this level, and sometimes it's going to draw that. You're going to put a big hole in it. Everything's going to leak out the bottom, right? Because you're just not going to be prepared. Because what happens? This monster's never satisfied. I got to tell you, once you start that up and down all over the place stuff, you never know. You know, some people are like, I have a system. I trade when it's an even number, I trade 5 contracts. When it's an odd number, I trade 17 contracts. Unless it's got a full moon, and then I trade 4 contracts. And then unless I got a cold, then it's 16 contracts. You got to come up with the plan, and the plan is right, simple. Incrementally crawl to a point. Now, how do you know how far to go? That's real simple. That depends on your plan, right? How much money do you need per month? Very simple, right? If you need $6,000. Now remember, we talked about this before. What you need, what you want, and what you want to get to are 3 different things. What you have to have. If you have to have $3,000 a month, you better double it and hit the 6. Right? This is what you'll need. Right? So if you absolutely have to have $3,000 a month, you better make it 6. Why? Because there's going to be some times during the month you're not going to be able to trade. There are going to be some times you're going to get sick, you're going to go on vacation, your computer broke, something happened. Whatever your budget is. Now this is pretty high, right? This is double the amount. You may have to make it $2,000 or $3,000 more, or $1,000 more, what have you. You'll be able to edge that in. But as a word to the wise, you better have a backup plan, right? Anybody in here work a full-time job as well? Anybody in here go to school at the same time you do your job? You ever have that, right? You ever work 2 jobs to make ends meet? I'm preaching to the choir here, folks. In order for you to get to your success, you're not going to be able just to kick the ball through the hoop. You're not just going to be able to smack the ball out of the park for your first time at bat. It's going to take work. And the work is going to require discipline. You're going to be learning a lot. You're going to be doing a lot. And the disciplines that most of you are in lack of, the biggest discipline is trust. And don't you worry, I'm not talking about trusting me or the system. I'm talking about trusting yourself, that you can do it, that it can happen. Relying on me, relying on anybody else in this network to make it happen for you is the first mistake you will make. No matter how many times I give you the 22-ounce East Wing hammer to build the house with, you hit your finger, you break a foot, you drop it on your head, you throw it through a window, whatever you do with that tool is completely on you. That also means your success is completely on you. And you should be proud of yourself for that. I spoke to a gentleman yesterday who at times will question his pathway that he's on. And when you question the pathway you're on, that's okay, because we're all individuals that are like that. Every single one of us are unsure at one time or another. And this is why you keep a journal. You watch what you're doing. You watch how things are progressing. If things are not moving fast enough, you can't be looking at this beginning part of the stage for you. And if you're trading one contract at a time, you cannot be looking at the overall value of the money, right? You can't say, oh my God, I was only able to trade 17 times today and I only made $110. What is with that? I need to make more. I can't live on $110. I'm sorry, I need to make $400 a day and this ain't going to cut it for me, blah, 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 right? Because we got CVG to look at. And you got to get to the consistency value first before you can add anything in volume to get to your goal. The reason why I asked if some of you worked a second job or went to school is that you had a goal in mind, right? If you took away your full-time job and went and just looked at your part-time job, your part-time job's not going to yield you that money. If you're going to school, it's a lost leader at first, right? Because going to school is not really going to produce you any money right up front. In fact, it's going to put you in debt even to a certain level, and it's going to be a long time before you're going to be able to validate that money, have an ROI against that money. When you're building a business, I don't know however many of you ever got into a business for free. Anybody walk in and say, I want to own a bread store, and then all of a sudden you got a bread store tomorrow and you didn't pay no money to get into it? These are childish dreams. If you think you're going to walk into something and be able to trade tomorrow and be able to make a whole bunch of money tomorrow that you can go into your boss and tell him to shove his job, then guess what? You're in for a rude awakening. But I can tell you that if you want to put your hard work into it, I'm standing right next to you. And so are 40, 50, 60, 100 and 138 people, 250 people in that system. Thousands of people that have been through the training, gone through the Trader's Mind series, gone through Nadex Ninja. These are people that really do care that you are successful. Now, are we perfect? Nope. Not meant to be. We're just like you. We have our times of struggle. We have our times of building and doubting and wondering if things work. I get emails every day from somebody or some place within our network that when we have these webinars, when I reach out to some and I ask them how they're doing, I get emails back. I get systems back that tell us that, this person's trading at this level. I look at the journals and I see people in their success. I once saw a gentleman who was making about $250 a day, snub his nose of it, and leave because it wasn't enough. He was making $250 a day and snubbed his nose at it because it wasn't going to be enough. Not having enough wherewithal to look at that $250 a day was done with one contract. And even though I preach to high heaven every day about CVG and creating your consistent value, it still was not enough. I looked at people to come in and they do really well in demo and they go live and they fall on their ass. The reason being is because real money affects you. Now, you want to think that it'd be like a shady Nadex thing, right? But no, I've watched them in Forex. I've watched them in all kinds of things happen, from the binary networks to spreads to it all. I've watched people in the demo sides kill it. And then something happens to them as soon as you put live money to it. The incremental crawl will really get you to that point that you'll be able to survive that drawdown. I've watched certain people come on and really begin to get into their own live. And then all of a sudden, something happens to them. Once they get to a certain amount live, something happens to them. They go really, really quiet for a while. Like we have a gentleman that is doing really well. And I don't think I really want to tell you how well he is doing, but I do know that he's met his goals. He has met his goals, and he's very happy. And when I wrote him about 2 weeks ago, right before I was about to move, I asked him how well he's doing. He goes, I don't want to jinx it. I'm so afraid that you're going to go away and this system's going to go away. Because he found a solution for himself within our network, and he just chisels away at it little by little every day. And the same thing doesn't work for every single person, because each one of you are a little bit different. Some of you can chisel away. Some of you are disciplined. Some of you aren't. So what worked for Rob may not, what worked for somebody may not have worked for others. You have to find what one of our systems, the dailies, the intradays, the NHs, the SR maxes, the 5-minute MDMs, and even now what's about to come out, which is the Dex FX system for Forex, and even spreads, right? You guys hear about that? You guys were on that webinar? If not, watch the webinar from Monday. We're talking about spreads in there. Watch the webinar from last night. Talking about spreads, making stuff happen with spreads here on Nadex. You tell me. It's pretty damn powerful. We're not adding something new. We're adding something that we said that we were going to get to eventually. And now we have enough data and enough promise to be able to do it. I've been working feverishly on the solution in two parts. One being the signals, because dailies are always going to be there. Intradays and any intradays will be there. SR maxes are still going to be there. They're still very strong. We're just finding a very unique way to deal with them and work with them. And so it's important for all of you to know that there is more inventory coming. But again, with that, you have to see if it fits for you. It doesn't fit for everybody. Okay? No matter what we build, it's always going to be all about DEX, right? I'm not going to come out with a car part system tomorrow about how to make car parts, all right? I've learned some pretty hard lessons over the years, and diversification is cool, but let me tell you, it will hurt after a while if you're not really careful on how much you diversify and into what. They still have to be sort of related, especially with this industry. So what we have created right now is a process that we're going to be moving the DEX signals people over to DEX Trader. DEX indicator people are going to still stay where they're at, but there is going to be a sort of, I won't say like just a revamp, right? We're just going to revamp the whole site. No, we're going to take the user experience, the UX, right? This is what we refer to it as, the UX. The UX of DEX Trader, a lot of initials here now, right? Is going to become something more than any of you probably are used to seeing. And we've been pretty good with doing the training videos and all of those things. But what we're building now is something it's going to be incredible for all of you. DEX Trader, its member portal, its systems, its programs, all of it are going to be put into sort of a user experience that as an individual, you come in, you'll have, because right now you kind of come in and you go straight to just a plain old page and you have a few buttons to push on, you got some stuff to look at, you got a chat room to kind of go around to. But we sort of lose some of you in there. You know, we don't have a system that's right in front of our face that shows us, I mean, we can search it and find out what learning systems you've looked at, but we have no way to track you as you go that way until now. We've been feverishly going through all the code and rewriting things and adding new things in, and we're going to be doing that here over this week and into the weekend. And this is a guarantee because we're doing it right now. So your user experience is that when you come into the network, this is all going to be about you, right? you're gonna have your little profile up there. You're gonna have, some information about you. Not that everybody's going to be able to see until you get to a certain level, right? But then you're going to have a whole process over here that's going to have have all your training on board, on what training you've done, so we can look at a glance. We can go into a user menu. There'll be a large like a community look, not like a Facebook, sort of like a Facebook, maybe not, but a community board that the admins will be able to see, and it'll tell us who's gone where and who's done what. Okay. There's also going to be a point system that's going to be on now, and this point system is as a free member or as a new member or what have you. It's going to give you an availability to do certain things. You can share some of the publications that we have, the posts, the news, that stuff. You can talk to people in comments. You can answer questions in the forum. It's not just a regular forum. It's going to be a chat. So you'll be able to answer questions in there. And these points can be traded in for values of coupons for discounts on the product. If you're a free member, if you get in as a free member, you'll be able to get access to certain webinars. You'll be able to get access to certain series. If you're a paying member, you'll get access to other things that we'll have. And it'll be a prerequisite for some of you elite people that are just starting out to become senior, and you're seniors to level 2, and all about the points that you receive. You'll also get access to other products of the indicator network, but via the point system as well, that you can trade in to get access to those special indicators that you may not be using. And some of the secondary series systems that we have, such as the MDM series if you're a Dex Trader, or Dex Trader if you're an MDM. This value of this UX system that we're putting together right now is very strong. But the next couple of weeks is really going to tell us how well everything is working out, because there's going to be a time when things aren't going to work. There's going to be things that will be missing. You'll have to find out where everything is. I have to build training around how to use it and all that stuff. So this is going to be happening over the next several days. But be prepared, because the training platform, it's getting a buffer. It's getting a huge push, because we're shifting up on how it looks in the system. They're still all going to be free, but there's going to be some business classes as well that I'm going to be putting in here. So it is still going to be about trading, but for you folks that are making this about a business, there's going to be things in there about your taxes, how you can take care of some of that stuff, about how to make a business, how to make an LLC, how to make a partnership, how to get these things set up. And this is very important, because as an individual trading, you have to become a business. You have to protect yourself, because once you do make money, and I've had a call from several of the clients that are doing very well, that have met their goals, that are making money, of what do I do next? How do I protect myself? How do I make sure that my money is going to be my money and the government's not going to come in and take 75% of it as a luxury almost, People have this fear, especially being 3 days from tax time. I never really see it like that, because my taxes are always done like the second month of February, or second week of February. I never wait until, the 15th. So the growth of what Dex is going to become is very powerful, but only because we're going to be using things that are going to help improve your relationship with it. Now, March of last year, we promised that we'd have the best customer service ever. And I really do think we do have the best customer service in this industry. Our user experience for people coming to the site might be a little bit outdated because of the things we were using just way back when. And we're very on top of, when things go wrong or things happen, but we wanted to make sure that we had a system that not only would you be proud of, but you could use very easily. And you could take part in. You could be proud to go there every day. You could be not just about being on the website and just sitting there all day doing trades, but taking part in learning more every day. Every new learning system that comes on will send you an email. Every new communication you're going to be getting from us, from the training that you do, will help promote where to go to next. The pathway will be clear for you. Amy, myself, and Mike and Brian have been having meetings each night since I've gotten back to discuss these particular movements for you. Communication movements from us to you, from the system to you, and to each one of you to each other. The senior traders and elite traders will now be able to go in. They'll have an upgraded status within the system to be able to go in and talk to others within the network to help them, and they will earn points, which will then they'll turn in for money and discounts on their fees and all that stuff. There'll be even some senior level 2 traders who will be able to take some of you under their wing, to be able to help you, and will receive money for that, for helping you as well, to help you get to your success. And they'll be your direct contact. Because listen, right now we have a couple hundred people in this thing that are active. But with the new Forex system, we're going to have a couple thousand. And that's why we've been sort of reluctant to put this out to the velocity we wanted to at the moment. With Nadex, it was always about liquidity, but with the Forex network, it's not. And once spreads hit us here, spreads are what really is going to take it to the next level for us on Nadex, and we still have to be careful with it. The community we talked about is going to be very powerful for all of you, because within that strength of numbers, there's a lot of knowledge flowing. There's a lot of data. There's a lot of experience happening. Even for those people that are trading at a certain level and not having a lot of experience, will be able to partake in communications and brainstorming groups that we're going to be creating on how to better adjust the things that we do. You see, it's only me, Brian, Amy, Paul, and Mike, and Thor, and a handful of other people that are partaking in this system on a full-time basis. And we're handling a couple hundred people and thousands of hits to the website a day. We need more people. The community has to be able to police itself. And that's what we're coming to. That's why we're creating the profile system that we are. My final thought for today for all of you is that with everything that we do, we want it to have value. That's why we're building. We started out a very simplistic signal network. We've created a trader platform. We've created indicators. We've created signal bases. We've created training networks. Now we're creating community in the process. We're constantly building. We couldn't have done it without you. Wouldn't have been a reason to. And our lessons that we have learned along the way is better communications, better follow through on everybody's part. So I really do hope that in the near future, you'll be able to see the values even further than what we are right now. But after this week, after this holiday that's coming this weekend, some of you may celebrate, some of you may not. The changes are going to happen before that, but you're going to notice a big change in all of us as we progress. And that progression is going to take all of us to be able to get to it. It's going to take the community to help raise itself up over the next couple of months. This industry is riddled with scammers, is riddled with people that will try to find negative things to say about anybody because they don't want anybody else to be successful, or they want to cause crap in somebody's life because they want to get that, they want you to go to their system. I've seen this happen so many times with Michael Freeman and a handful of other sites that he runs. I've seen this happen, and even just, which I thought were pretty trusted companies, pretty trusted people, which I found out just recently that there was a couple of them out there that I thought were pretty good that are bad mouthing us pretty strong because they don't like that we tout that we're transparent. It almost, me saying that a company that we're transparent does not mean that you are untransparent or that you're ripping people off. We sing our praises because we find that we're one of the first companies that really started to concentrate on the reality of what this industry was. And we have built upon that. If you're watching this video after the fact, I want to say thank you for getting to this part of the video. I'm Max Farrell, and this is Dex Signals of Dex Trader. And for everybody that's in the room, please stick around for the questions and answer phase, which will happen here just shortly. Everybody else, I look forward to seeing your responses to the video, as well as make sure you subscribe to the video here on this site, because you'll get some points for doing it. Make sure you share the video as well, because you get even more points. That's coming soon. But I want to thank you for your time, and as always, trade well. Everybody else, stick around in the room. I'm Max. This is Dex. See you soon.